So the first thing about a ventilation system is to have a known location where we can have good quality air. So this house, fortunately, again, I said before, it met an Energy Star guideline before that required ventilation. This is my ventilation intake. It's got a supply air ventilation duct that runs into the return. It's about the right height off the ground. Typically you want to be about 18 inches off the ground, but you also don't want to be anywhere near any combustion sources or combustion outputs on the building. They are fortunately all on the north side of the building. So we're going to work with this. We're going to use the one hole. We're going to use Broan's Duo system that exhausts and supplies the fresh air into one connection. So pretty slick idea from them, and you'll see when we put that in, it's going to be one hole in the wall and a finished boot. So, as luck would have it, nearly all of the basements in this neighborhood are finished, and so we have this small room to work with. We have a new 2-stage furnace. We've got a steam humidification system. We have a 4-inch MERV 13 media filter, and right behind me is where we're going to put this balanced ventilation system. We've already added a power outlet, so we had the electrician come in and take care of that part of the business. And how we're going to connect this system now, this is the only exposed ductwork that we can get because they're finished ceilings everywhere else. We're going to pull into the return directly above me. So we're going to pull air from the house in the return. This is one of the prescribed methodologies of connecting this ERV. And we're going to dump the air back in at the return over here so it'll go through the filter, etc. We will be utilizing the furnace blower to help distribute that balanced ventilation air as well. So let's get to work. So we've cut that duct free on the other end to put the Duo exhaust and supply hood in outside. So what we're doing is I've got this 6-inch flex duct that was the old ventilation duct, and we're just pulling it free through the opening. We have a rope tied onto it, and we're going to pull back with the other equipment. So we're making really good progress. This is going faster than we thought and anticipated that it would. We've put actually a 4-inch inlet into the return, so this is our fresh air to building. This will be our exhaust air from building right above me, and these are my ducts to go to the outside. We have a bay, and again, finished basement above, but we've got a bay all the way through here. We're just going to pull this rope on through with the part of the Duo, connect it to the outside hood, and we're going to be ready to roll here. All right, so pretty quick work of this. We removed the 6-inch duct that was here for the fresh air ventilation system. We attached 2 new 5-inch ducts to this Duo hood. So this will be my exhaust port, this will be my intake port. We're just ready to stick it into the building here. It snaps right into place. Then I've got a screw hole on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, here we are. We've got the ERV 70T. T stands for top ports, and it's again going to be hung from the joist up above here. Real simple. So as we unpack this, we do have the instructions here. We've already been referring to that, and I'm going to set those right in a safe spot. We'll leave those with the homeowner as well. Just some very simple foam blocks here that we pull out, and we've got our chain, springs, connector, and miscellaneous parts. These cords go around our connections to outdoors. So the unit, pretty lightweight, small 70 CFM ERV. And here we have it. As you can see, I'm hanging on with one hand. So we move the box here, and it's going to orient itself there and right up in that space. So besides having so many different box configurations and port configurations from the top to the side, one thing that Broan has done a great deal is taking feedback from contractors on installation. So here's a pre-installed, the chain will come, we're going to install the chain to the ceiling, etc. It has an isolation spring for vibration included in that kit, and then a really cool thing, rather than trying to figure out how to screw something to the box, etc. There's little tabs right here on the side, and all we have to do is just take for example, a putty knife in here, just slightly bend it out, and once our chains are hanging down, we'll come back at this and we're just going to take that chain loop and just wiggle it in right there, and that's our hanging point. And then we just basically take the slack up and install the spring in there for any vibration not to be transferred to the floor. So it's about quick, it's about easy, and thinking about how contractors don't always have tools or things at their disposal all the time. All right, pretty straightforward. We're checking for level now. It's mostly going to be if something has a drain that it's real appropriate that it's level, but for motor function, etc. So we're pretty much dead on here as far as level. We can check across these ports as well, and it looks like we're pretty much rock solid here. We just counted links on the chain, same links for the spring. So we're set there. Power cord's hanging off the back, which we're going to plug into the sidewall over here. And we're ready. These are our outdoor ducts, and then we've got our connections here. So we're just going to connect ducts, and then we're going to go through and connect and interlock this to the furnace, and away we go. It's important to remember that we want to have an insulated, flexible duct with these, especially in cold climates. So that's my exhaust air out back here. Again, my fresh air in. Those are both with the insulated R8 flexible duct. You can use 6 as well, but it's important that we also look at how this collar is, and the actual jacket material comes down, and there's a collar installed, which you'll see in just a second, which wraps around and seals this mylar insulation, the reflective insulation, tightly around here to keep any indoor air from coming up here and condensing on that pipe. And that's the big thing. We don't want to have condensation off that pipe while we're using the flex duct. We have such a close configuration to the blower. We're meeting the specs, but at the same time, we put this duct off of a 90 in here. We did use an insulated flex duct. My concern is on high fan speed that we might get some motor noise in there. I'm not sure, but just as a good precaution, we've put an insulated flex duct on this part here. As you'll see, this one does not need to be insulated. It's stale air from the building. What we're worried about is when we're pushing, particularly this one, if cold air from outside, my fresh air feed, comes in contact with warm moisture in the building, I'll get sweating on that duct. So that's the big one. The rest of these are less important. Indoor, so outdoor air, stale air to outdoors, fresh air from outdoors, insulated, the rest of them, not a big deal. So my last 2 connections, and I've routed this one up here into the ceiling, and they go right to the top port on the unit. This one will come in here. I'm going to take that one last to give me some working room here. And we'll want to make sure that we've saved enough insulation, which we have, and we cut this to go all the way around this metal as well. So that is well in place, and we're ready to pop this one in. There is a balancing damper here. We've made sure that we didn't have an obstruction the way that we crimped that pipe, so we should be good there as well. And we are ready to wrap this one around. We could put some screws, but I'm worried about it, so we're going to use a very robust mastic back tape here and press it very well into place. And we'll check and make sure we've got a very good seal there. So we're going to make sure our insulation then neatly covers that metal portion of the duct. So here is this cord, very handy from an installer's point of view. This cord then is a cinch that will go around, and it plugs in right here. It'll hold that flex duct into place. Really handy from an installer perspective, not having to grab another zip tie right now. Nice seal. Still have access to that balancing damper right here. So we want a nice tight seal that all the way around. That's very nice, coming together very well. So my last duct, which we're going to put into place here, and that one's just going to go right into here over the collar. There's not a balancing damper in this one. We'll also put one more support right there. We've put one in. I simply just grab one of my handy zip ties, wrap it around. Nice tool that we use here in the field is this zip tie puller cutter. They're pretty handy. All right, so we're going to actually use the furnace to actually control this 2-speed ERV. And you can also use the control board that's on this ERV. It has a high and low speed as well. That's what we're going to activate with this furnace. Nice thing is, for our low voltage connection, we've got just from the manual, just the 2 connections, and the connector right here is supplied with the unit. And all we're going to do at this point is we're just going to reach back here, line it up, and it's all set, so that connector then plugs directly into the side of the unit, and we are ready to go. Well, we're just double checking the last pieces here. We've just connected the unit. With this Broan unit, there are 3 or 4 different control options that can be either wired directly into this unit the same way that we've done here, or there's again a button right on the side to operate this in either the 40 CFM setting or the 70 CFM setting. So you can do it with a controller, without the controller, and again, in this case, we had an air handler that had a very sophisticated controller that runs an ASHRAE 62.2 algorithm to actually control the ventilation system. So that's what we've done. So the last and most important step is to balance this unit. And the protocol to balance the unit, we're actually going to use a manometer, or magnehelic gauge, if you want to call it that, but it's a digital manometer. It's just a little bit of push and pull is all we're going to do here. What we need is just a simple screwdriver, and to open up these balancing ports up on top. One is here and one is right back here. We've completed our balancing procedure really quick. What we're doing is we're taking a digital manometer. We could actually access both channels and be even a little bit faster. This is my stale air from outside, so coming from the return to outside, air handler is now running at 325 CFM continuous. We're on the 70 CFM setting on the air handler, or on the ERV, sorry. And what we've got is with that around 214, we're just right about at about 65, 67 CFM exhaust air from the building. And when we reverse the ports, very simple, we're just going to measure across the other side. We're at about 70, 72 CFM of supply air. So we're pretty close on balance, and that went very quick. We've got just some screw-in-place dampers. You just adjust the dampers, and you're pretty much ready to go at that point. So very quick setup. Again, this was a very compact and very simple install in this particular retrofit application, and I know that the homeowners are going to be extremely happy when they start to feel the benefits of good indoor air quality with this unit.